Legacy Maker, the All Sports Network.
Welcome to Commonwealth Sports Talk, Season 3, Episode 10. Triangle Episode Part 2. With your hosts, Lamonte Thomas, Anthony Robinson, and special guest, Darrell Owens.
Welcome, everybody, to Commonwealth Sports Talk. Today, we got a real treat for you guys. Of course, I got my main man, Darrell Owens, Mr. Legacy Maker Sports himself. Runs the Legacy Maker Sports podcast. You'll see him everywhere on this network. Darrell, it's good to have you on, man. What's going on?
Bro, it's an honor, man. It's an honor to make a sneak appearance here on Commonwealth Sports Talk. Now, y'all probably don't know, but I do a lot of behind the scenes work here on Commonwealth Sports Talk. So
hey, he's the GOAT, y'all. He's the GOAT.
To show my shining face is definitely an honor. So I appreciate it, brother.
Comes full circle, man. I'm used to being on your show, so it's an honor.
Yeah,
it's an honor. Now I got my man Aunt Rob. How you doing, man? What's going on?
Hey, great, man. I'm great. You know, just happy to be here again. Like I said, blessed with the greatness of Legacy Maker himself. Man, I'm ready for a great one today, man. I'm ready for it.
That's right, and of course, you know, Commonwealth Sports Talk is brought to you by Legacy Maker Sports Network and Grind and Pray. That's right. And this podcast is designed to teach and inform the listener and viewer of the positive advancement of Virginia athletes born or raised, and definitely born and raised. So let's get into it. This episode, we are going to discuss the Virginia teams in the NCAA basketball tournament, both men's and women. When we'll talk a little bit about high school football and the areas that we are covering. So first things first, NCAA basketball, man, we've been talking about how difficult it is to even get through a bracket, man. Darrell and I were just discussing that, and man, these teams are laced from top to bottom. So there we have, we got UVA, of course, is going to be the front runner for Virginia teams. You know, they got the 4 seed, I believe, versus Ohio at 13. You got VCU. Of course, got to show love to the alma mater. For me, VCU makes their 11th out of 14 appearances, you know, since 2007. They have the 10 seed. They'll be playing Oregon. You got Virginia Tech, who has a 10 seed. They'll be playing Florida. That'll be a real good game because, I mean, them being a top 25 team, Virginia Tech, people forget, you know, they're still in here. They're still ranked. Then you got Norfolk State. Of course, got to show love to the MEAC winner. Mr. Robert Jones had him on this podcast earlier. That's right.
Yes, we did.
That's right. We in here. Norfolk State. They'll be taking on I think the same game versus Appalachian State, right? Yep. Yeah. And then winner will of course face number 1 undefeated Gonzaga. So
the grand prize, baby.
Boy, you talking about a treat of treats.
Man, hey,
congratulations.
Hey, March is mad though, so we'll see.
Yeah, you never know.
And of course, we can't forget Liberty. Liberty is the 13th seed that we taking on Oklahoma as a 4 seed. So there it is. First thing I want to ask you guys is, what are the best? Who has the best chance out of this these Virginia teams? The best chance to make it deep. We'll start with you, Rob. What you got?
Well, you said Virginia, right? Who do Virginia have again?
They have
Ohio, right?
Ohio, yep.
And they on that same side with Gonzaga. I think I'm gonna go with UVA. They probably have a good road. Not saying they gonna get all the way there, but I think they have a good road at least to make it pretty deep. Sweet 16, maybe Elite 8. Depends on how well you playing. I know this year there's no travel. Everybody's in Indiana. So, it's not about – I'm pretty sure they're not going anywhere. They're not going back to school. So, you'll be staying around. And Virginia Tech has
Florida.
Yeah, that's tough. That's gonna be that's gonna be a tough one, man. That SEC was big this year. They had LSU, Alabama. I know Kentucky wasn't Kentucky, but they're still Kentucky. They're gonna play hard. But I'm gonna go with UVA though. Like I said, I like UVA coming out the gate. Ohio, they ain't got a Creighton. I'm gonna go with Creighton. Coming out of there, I think they should beat them. And you could get Gonzaga. You could get Gonzaga in that Sweet 16, and you gotta play some good ball, man. We know Tony Bennett defense is going to be solid. They're gonna come to play. They gotta hit some shots, though. They definitely gonna have to hit some shots. So I'm gonna go with UVA making that little run, man.
There you go. All right, Darrell, what you got?
Man, I'm gonna try not to be biased, but you already know. All right. So here's my thing. Obviously, UVA is probably the better of the Virginia teams. But, Lamont, we talked about this, they play tournament ball, but they also are one of those teams because the type of game that they play, they're susceptible to losing games that they shouldn't lose. Or in most people's eyes, they say, well, they shouldn't lose in this team. That bracket is a wide open bracket. They got VCU in that bracket. They're playing a tough Oregon team in that bracket. Oklahoma's in that bracket, obviously. So they got three. They're going to have three Virginia teams in that bracket with Norfolk State, potentially, Virginia, and then they got VCU. But I think that they got the easiest path out of the teams in there, that they got going on. VCU I like VCU, but they're young. And I think that young mentality showed up a little bit in the A-10 championship when they took on a St. Bonaventure team that just came out there. They're good. They're good. So I looked at that and said, well, VCU could still make noise. So Bones Highland is a bona fide NBA prospect. Like people are starting to, Oregon fans are like, yo, this kid is an NBA prospect. He's dropping 30 a game. He's a sophomore that won the Atlantic 10 Player of the Year. So it's like, if he gets on fire and the rest of the guys come and play the defense that VCU can play, shoot, they gonna be tough. And then the other one is Tech. They got Florida, but Tech beat UVA. And that doesn't happen often. Tech beat UVA, and they're playing better basketball. They've been playing some decent basketball as of late. So they took a tough one in the tournament to Carolina, but Carolina's actually playing really good ball. They're starting to cook a little bit. So, the ACC is a tough one. I'm going with Virginia.
Yeah, like you said, Virginia's going to be the favorite out of all. Obviously, that has the highest seed of all the Virginia teams. But this bracket is tough, and of course, I feel like Gonzaga will blink when they see UVA. You how can you not? Like Rob said, Tony Bennett defense. You got the leadership. You have the experience. Of course, they're no brainer.
Ian Clark guard.
Let me tell you what my pick is. Other than UVA, of course, the obvious pick. I look at the Midwest, right, side of the bracket.
Right.
You want to talk about the draw. Liberty takes on Oklahoma State, right? You have probably the number one pick that we talked about that's coming out of here, and then Cunningham.
Right.
So of course, that's going to be your focus, right? But you got a disciplined Liberty team. Was it like their third in a row? They won the Atlantic Sun third time in a row, right? You got a disciplined team. If they can somehow, if he's going to get his, Cunningham's going to go off. But if they can keep the rest of the team at bay and mess around and upset, look at the rest of the bracket. They have to face either Tennessee or Oregon State. Oregon State's been lightning hot, right? For them to sneak in here like they have, because they said that they busted a lot of people's bubbles. So if they mess around and beat Tennessee, then you're looking at 13 versus 12 right there, right?
Right.
Facts.
Then you got Illinois, right? So Illinois has the number one seed. In the second round, they may possibly face a Loyola Chicago team. Think about the passion that's going into that game. You got both teams right there in Illinois. of course, Loyola Chicago is the forgot about, right? They would love to play Illinois. Think about that. They love to play Illinois.
That's the nun. That's the nun. Ain't that the
Yeah,
nun?
yeah. Sister
Mary
Sister
Clarence.
Jean,
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Sister Jean. That's her name.
Sister Jean.
Yeah. You know they're not letting her go. They're not letting her.
Oh no, she a staple.
No, man, she in there. I mean, Sister Jean, like,
they made it go viral.
Like 150,
you know, they probably going to go to make the NCAA have fits.
You're right though. I mean, and you know it's March, man. It's March. You know, and you never know, man. You never know. Like we seen a 16 beat the 1 a couple years ago.
Exactly. You know, you hurt a little bit.
But you know those 11, those are the 11s, the 12s. You know those are those games that mess up everybody's brackets. Those 13s. Right. So those are the ones that like you said, you know, you come in. You know, okay, we the 4, or you know, saying we got Liberty, and Liberty come out there, hit a couple shots, keep themselves in the game, and next thing you know, boom, you upset. So you're right. I mean, it's hard to say. You know who, man? Really, this tournament this year has been unbelievable, man.
It's going to be a lot of for sure. And that brings us to the second question. We got the Virginia teams most likely to go deep, and then now we have the Virginia team most likely to be in an upset, whether they're upsetting somebody or they get upset. Darrell, we'll start with you. I see you shaking your head, man. Don't do it to your boys.
I mean, I just got to be honest, man. It's got to be Virginia. Yeah. I mean, because you know they're just that team that if they let a team stay close, you know they've lost some games in most people's eyes. Like the other day in an ACC tournament, I mean. Syracuse almost beat them. It was a 3 at the buzzer that kept them alive in that thing. So you know, like if I don't know how good Ohio is because I haven't really looked at them, but you know I didn't know how good San Francisco was neither, and they beat them by 1. So if San Francisco can keep the game close, they can win that game. I mean, I think the next one that would probably be the easiest would probably be Tech. So it's like. Between those two, I think it would be Tech. I mean, Tech's got Florida, as Anthony said, bro. I mean, Florida done played in that tough SEC, man. It's gonna be really hard for them. If Tech goes in there and win that, great for them. But it's gonna be tough. You know, it's gonna be tough.
Yes, sir. And
I was gonna go with Tech, man. You know, like I said, Tech. You know, you played in the ACC. I mean, I know the blue blood Duke wasn't at the top this year, so you know what I'm saying. But we still have one of the best conferences there is in the nation. So I'm gonna go with Tech as far as upsetting. You come in there, hit some shots, play some D. Excited to be there. No tournament last year, things like that. You beat Florida. You know you get Ohio State. Ohio State has not been. You know, they up and down. They I think lost 2-3 in a row at one point before the tournament, winning the tournament, played well in the conference tournament. So, you know, you get Texas Tech, you got Texas Tech at the top part, Utah State, Arkansas, Colgate. You might could slide into that Elite 8, you know. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If things go right for you, you know what I'm saying? That the kids come to play, lock in. Like I said, got to play defense, got to hit some shots, man. It's March Madness for a reason. So I like Tech as far as that team to upset and you know probably make a deep run if they can.
Yeah, my pick was also Tech. I mean, I'm looking at the bracket, and you know, you get a Florida team, like we said, tough. SEC is tough all the way around, but I mean, you got ACC Coach of the Year. I mean,
yeah.
You got you know, Young's doing his thing. You got a lot of length on that team, physical. You know, those are the type of teams that, you know, is a tough out in a tournament. And I think, like you said, if Tech can just buckle down, if they get past Florida, they'll most likely get Ohio State, who has been knocked around towards the end of the season. So, you know, they took some lumps. I mean, they lost to Michigan and they beat them again, but then Illinois, I think, came and crushed them. And then, you know, so then there's that. And then you just gotta wonder what that does for their momentum going into the
They just took Ohio State to Illinois to overtime.
Yeah, exactly. So they're back, right?
Right.
So it's like they're up, then they're down, then they're up again. So it's like if Virginia
You
Tech
could
catches
get him.
at the right time, yeah. If Oral Roberts has any kind of struggle, makes Ohio State struggle at all,
Right, right,
yeah.
right.
Oh man, you have a Hampton all over again, baby.
Oh my goodness.
Wasn't that year Hampton beat Georgetown?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lamont. Oh no.
Oh, no.
Yeah, let's
Bad
go.
memories.
I was
Bad
happy at the
memories.
same time because it was Hampton though. So it was like it was crazy for me because I was like, "There's no way this is gonna happen." And I'm looking, I'm like, "Yo, Hampton is balling out here." Like,
Yeah.
it was balling. But then again, that's there it is. That's the UVA right there. I mean, that's the Virginia. That's the Virginia roots. That's the Commonwealth. So
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
yeah.
Shout out to all the guys from the area though, that made the tournament. The kids from Norfolk State, Joe Bryant, Devontae Carter from Newport News. You got Chase Coleman, which is Matt Coleman's brother. He
Cam
plays
Thomas,
for UVA.
LSU.
Cam Thomas, LSU.
Watch out for him because he can drop 30 at any given time, bro.
Hey, that kid can go, man. He's from Chesapeake and played at Oscar Smith, Player of the Year, I think freshman year. So I'm excited for all the look. I know I'm missing some, but I'm excited for those guys, man, making it.
You got Mac McClung playing
Mac McClung, Baycott.
I was about to say, Armando, I know that's Joe's guy.
Nope.
So,
804. He doing a shout out. Joe Dillon doing a shout out. 804 on the, shout out to him. ACC coverage last week. Yeah.
Phenomenal job last week, man. Phenomenal job.
Yeah, but definitely a lot of Virginia roots in this tournament, just like you brought up, Ant, and that's a good point. They're deep in the tournament. Look out, any of these kids can, be the next star on this big stage. So there it is. I mean, anything else on the tournament itself? Oh, we gotta do women. We can't forget our women.
Oh yeah. Can't forget the women, man.
So VCU, man, Darrell. Let's talk about, we've been covering this group of young ladies, man, and we saw them as freshmen, and it was special, right? Like the growth now that this group of seniors has, right? We talking Taya Robinson, is Tara Reid senior?
Tara, Sydney Archie. I think she's been banged up. She hasn't played.
Okay.
But she hasn't played the last couple of games. So she's been banged up pretty bad. So, I think the best thing about this VCU thing, as a network, we've covered this team since the senior class has started. And that first year, it was rough. 7-19. They were getting beat up, all the time. And then the next year, they took no prisoners. And we went up to Pittsburgh and we got to cover them go all the way to the championship. That first run at the championship.
That was great.
And losing to Fordham, me and Lamar, we called that game.
Yeah.
And so
we did.
Yeah. I remember sitting there and, we took the pictures and you see Danielle Hammond receiving her award for being all tournament. Taya Robinson made all tournament that year. And you saw the look in their eyes, like the hurt. And I was like, man, I remember me and you said, we're talking to Russ. And it's like, you gotta use that, you gotta use that hurt, for future references. The next year they get to the championship game again and lose to Dayton. I'm like, bro, by 4. And, this tournament, they weren't the favorites. They weren't that team from the last 2 years that everybody said, oh, this is their championship. They went in there knowing that, they had a couple of transfers. They got 2 young ladies from Canada that's in their starting lineup, Samantha Robinson and then Tibiasi, who she had a great tournament. She made all tournament team. And then, they were the 5th seed. They go in there. They beat Rhode Island, who beat them earlier in the season. They beat Rhode Island. Then they played Dayton. Nobody expected them to beat Dayton. They're long, they're athletic. Dayton's got 6'5", 6'6", 6'3", 6'4". Their whole team is 6 foot, except for the one short point guard they got. So they went in there and they beat them. And I'm like, all right, they there. They get to this game against UMass, who has been hot. UMass beat up a couple. They beat Fordham. They beat St. Louis. And I'm thinking all right, is this it? And they played so hard, but the person that I'm proud of the most is Taya Robinson, because she was the look on her face in that 2 years ago. and to see the joy on her face, the Huguenot product. You know, she averaged 30 in her last year.
Yeah.
She comes out there and she is like, you know, she was all defensive last year and then third team. This year, first team defense, first team, conference. Then on top of that, she also wins the tournament MVP. And she averaged like 19 points a game.
Killed him.
So she wasn't that much of a scorer in the beginning of her career.
Right.
But this year alone, she's been killing it. So I know I had to get that out there.
No,
it just feels
no.
good. It feels good to talk about.
That's what we're here for. You know, and I remember
put the .com on it. You know, she put the .com on her career, man. Get up out of there. You know, still writing it. Still got a chance to add on to it. That's awesome, man.
Like he said, Taya, you know, played at Huguenot, the hometown. She always took it, you know, she always took it to heart playing for this VCU team. And when we saw that, you know, and I'm proud of her. Taya Reed, man, like I remember interviewing Reed at and I asked her, where does the energy come from? Because y'all are all sophomores. And she said, we feed off of Taya. She said, Taya, you know, we both try to get aggressive and set the pace, and then we go from there. So that's our leadership. And to see them grow into that after taking those 2 lumps in the championship, man, is everything. Yeah. So shout out.
I mean, yeah, man, it was beautiful. And the hug that they gave after the game, I'm not gonna lie, I was, you know, Rob was with me. Rob Johnson on the network, and I looked over at Rob. Rob said, I think I'm gonna cry. I said, I know, Rob. I said, that now sounds crazy. You don't hear that from the media, but we were so invested with this team because, you know, a lot of the teams, like a lot of the, you know, and that's not to trash the news organizations around here because they cover a lot of stuff, but nobody put the effort and the passion that we put into, you know, Richmond, you know, University and VCU. And, you know, some of the women's teams in the area that, you know, maybe they didn't cover because the big boys, they were worried about VCU man, Richmond man. And so for us, it just felt good to see them get that championship.
Yeah, so for sure.
I was happy for them, man.
So
congratulations,
man. They always
was ready to go get your t-shirt. Y'all was ready to go get your t-shirt and hat.
I was like, come on, head. I'm ready, baby. Let's go.
I went to school there. So you already know that's my undergrad alma mater. So I'm always hyped for VCU. But like you said, you know, they're just man, they're top notch. You know, they show us love every time we come out there, you know, no matter, like he said, no matter whether they're the favorite or not, you know, so it's good to see them do the thing. And speaking of underrated, you know, and not on the radar, we'll switch it back to the men's side real quick because VCU men were picked 9th in the A-10 preseason poll. Put some respect on our name, bro. Put some respect on our name. They picked us 9th. Bro, we playing, they you know, lost the championship to St. Bonaventure. You know, they got the best of them. But, man, VCU balled out all this whole year. Bones Highland, you know, the whole squad. So, there it is, man.
Yeah, man.
Yep. I'm that. Yeah, so then we also got in the women's tournament at Virginia Tech. You know, both the men and the women's team get in to the NCAA tournament. So, they're making a statement, man. They're making a statement for sure. And now they'll have Marquette, who's a 10th seed in the first round. So, look out for Virginia Tech, man. There it is.
Yeah. All right. The ladies are looking good, man.
Yeah.
All right. So there you have it. There's UVA coverage, and I keep saying UVA instead of Virginia. We got Virginia. I'm gonna make it one day. We got Virginia coverage in both the men's and the women's tournament. We'll go ahead and switch it over to high school football. And us being that we have the triangle set up in this episode, we'll talk about, you know, 3 parts of Virginia. So we'll go ahead and start with Ant down in the Tidewater region, man. What's happening down there in high school football, man?
Man, good news, man. Probably had the biggest game in the state of Virginia this past weekend, Hampton and Phoebus. Rival game, of course. You know, the legendary Mike Smith looking for his 500th win. But we had to pause that for a second. You know, he because I think he needs 5 or 6 wins, so we had to pause that for him at Phoebus. But they were up, man. They were up 12-3 late in the third quarter with about 4:45 left, and Phoebus clawed back and scored 20 unanswered points to win, I believe 23-12 or something like that, 23-12, and it was a good barn burning. Of course, he was able to go. They show it via Zoom, so it wasn't as packed, it wasn't as big, it wasn't as it used to be, but that was big. I know the biggest thing for the Peninsula District though down here is getting games in.
Right.
Last week, I want to say about 5 or 6 teams didn't play, because they were out with COVID. I believe Gloucester didn't play, Heritage, Warwick, Kickerton, Bethel. Like, it was a lot of teams from the Peninsula District that did not play last weekend. But you had a big win from Lake Taylor over the Maury. 2 state champions played. Division 3, Division 4 state champs, Lake Taylor and Maury played. And Lake Taylor pulled that one out. That was good, man. That was big. I'm sure that was a big one for the city. I was intrigued to see Princess Anne knock off Ocean Lakes. Princess Anne knocked off a tough Ocean Lakes. I know Princess Anne got some new coaches, some good coaches. I know a couple of the guys, Brad Holloman. He's a run coordinator over there, and they pulled out a good win over Ocean Lakes. Princess Anne not known to be like that, but that's a good program. The kids, it's COVID season. They ain't played in 365, so just being able to get out there and play ball, man. They say Oscar Smith is doing that thing. I'm just, my thing about this year in football is the fact that you got champion with only 9 wins, a state champion with 9 wins. That sounds so weird.
It's a very different season, man. Messing around with COVID is crazy.
It's gonna be weird, man. But down here, it's getting geared up. My biggest thing is hopefully we can, everybody can continue to play, stay healthy, get these games in, and roll right into the fall, and let's get this thing back up rolling. But it's getting geared up, man. I'm excited. Hopefully I can, call somebody and get on the sideline or somewhere and get in there and watch some of these games, man.
That's for sure. All right, there it is, man. We got Darrell's got his Amelia Raiders. True blood to the hometown, man. What's going on with Amelia?
Man, Raider football is kind of in the transition right now because we're, the last, a couple of years ago, we were in there. We was in the mix, making a deep run in the playoffs, and we lost to Pocosa in the playoffs a couple years ago. And then, we have been kind of switching. We had a really good team, really good wide receiver who committed to Old Dominion. Another our quarterback committed to Virginia State. We had our linebacker head to Virginia Tech. So, we had people going to, big schools, and that's huge for us because we're a 2A school, we're a small school. Yeah. So for us, it was great, but we've been trying to, get back from that and trying to get, get ourselves together. We did have a kid last year, Seth Hawkins, go to Howard, and it's a little different because you don't normally, usually you see kids from Howard, it's mostly Black kids, right. But Seth white guy, like, okay, Seth, I see you, baby. Go to Howard, make the thing happen, brother. So, Seth's good. But he's a heck of a player, man, tough player. And it was good to see him. Now, this year, as Ant said, it's tough because the guys are trying to get games in where they can try to get games in there. Goochland, who's a powerhouse in our area, has been, in the mix, in the battle, always in the state championship, always fighting. Yeah, consistently. And they've been a thorn in our side for years. We've probably, back and forth between 2 and 3 in the district. And this year, this Goochland team looks like they're ready to go and win another state championship. I mean, they first game, they beat us 50-0. I mean, it was not pretty. And it was snowing outside. And you thought, okay, maybe they slowed down because it's snowing. No, bro. It was snowing outside. It was pouring, and I'm over here doing the broadcast, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. But that Goochland team is just tough, and they're gonna be somebody to reckon with. The next week, we traveled down to Windsor and played Windsor, and were able to beat them. We got to beat them 48-0. So that was like a little bit of getting ourselves back after getting smacked the week before. They were supposed to play Cumberland this week, but like once again talking about what Ant had to say. Cumberland had to forfeit the game because they only had 11 players. Right. So this is the type of things that we're running to because of COVID. Like you think, we got a game schedule, but then all of a sudden having a team like, nah, bro, we can't do it. Or parents are like, nah, they're shutting it down. Or schools are like, nah, we can't do that. So, this week.
And that's 2 weeks. Like,
yeah, that's 2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks, right?
You're only playing 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're scheduled for 6, I believe.
6 games.
3 home, 3 6 or 6. 3 at home, 3 away. So that's already a game. We technically won by forfeit, so we're 2-1. And then this week we play a Central Lunenburg team who's always been a powerhouse from Chippy Chapin, who's one of the, all they do is they run that power eye, man. It's like a wishbone, bro. They out there, they've been wishboning for years. You already know what's coming and you can't stop it.
Can't stop it, man.
You can't stop it. They do it. They got 3 or 4 running guys. They run the ball and you don't never know who's getting it. And they just run the ball and then they throw 1 pass. They throw maybe 2 passes a game. And when they get you with the pass, they smack you like, oh my God, there's the pass. You knew it was coming. So they're going to be a tough team, and we play them this weekend. So, still got to play Nottoway. Nottoway is always our rival. That'll be a good one. We're coming along. We're coming along.
I hear you. Nottoway, man. They still got the wall by the field. You know how? Listen, bro. We used to scrimmage Nottoway, and up there in Colonial Heights, and I'll never forget one day they threw a nice deep ball, and the receiver was running down the sideline, and our dude pushed him, and he went smack against the wall, bro. Bro, his helmet, it was like a movie. I'll never forget this. His helmet flew off, ear pads flew out the helmet. Like, it was the craziest thing. I was like, bro, like they got to do something about this wall.
It's close to the sideline. It's a wall close to the.
It's like 10. It's probably like a good 10, 15 yards away.
Yeah, it's a little bit away from
momentum.
Momentum
can carry you.
But momentum. If I hit you with momentum, you're gonna fly out there.
So if you run a 10, 15 yard out, right, and you're heading full speed at the sideline, that's what happened. So, bro.
And I give you
bro. My man was. I looked at that. I was like, "We playing mutant league football out here. Like it's crazy. It was crazy. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen." But yeah,
that's tough.
That just reminded me, man. I had to.
Yeah, man. Nottoway, man. I think the worst game I ever called, in the rain playoff game. We beat Nottoway like 9-0 or 9-6. It was pouring down rain. I mean, I was soaked from head to toe. I was sitting on top of the press box. Live streaming the game, man. That thing was, I'm getting a cold sweat thinking about that thing now. Man, shoot. That was tough out there.
Bro,
tough out there.
I bet.
But look, Goochland said hell, rain, sleet, snow, they don't care. They
don't care about nobody, bro. Goochland is, Goochland's moving up next year. They're actually even out our district for the first time in years. A long time ago, they left our district, went to the Jefferson district. And then they struggled in the district and then they came back down to our district to dominate again. And now they're dominating so much that they're sending them back to the Jefferson district. So they're still going to play us. We're still going to play them yearly, but they won't be in our region anymore. They're moving up to class 3. So they'll be at the 3 level now. So it's all good though.
Ooh, come on.
Let them go. I'm tired of them.
That's my boys from Phoebus. We in 3A.
Yeah,
y'all can have them.
Look.
A lot of competition out there. A lot of competition.
Yeah.
Look. I'm definitely, following coaching high school ball. Those names I definitely recognize. Goochland being, of course, being like I said, consistently in the mix for a state title run. They're going to be very, very good coming to 3A. I mean, right. They play good ball. They do play good ball.
Yeah, and then last but not least, we got this Tri-Cities area. We'll start out with the dominant teams, of course. The Highland Springs and the Hopewell. Somebody didn't tell Hopewell they play in high school teams because the first 2 games, both of them at Highland Springs were just smacked. Hopewell came out and beat Colonial Heights 60-0. And then we thought, okay, well, it can't get any worse than that. So then they come next week and they beat Petersburg 70-0.
Oh, my.
The first 2 games combined 130-0. They're not playing games out here.
Oh.
So you got that. And on Highland Springs did the same thing. They came out and I think Henrico, they smacked some. They won 53-0. They won another game, I think 45-0. And then the third game, they actually got a scare. They were playing Glen Allen. And at half, they were down 9-7.
Oh.
But they ended up scoring, I think it was like 28 unanswered, and they ended up winning 35-9. So
little scare, little hiccup.
Yeah.
little any given Sunday halftime speech. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right.
We're gonna fight for every inch.
Right.
One of those. You know what? Once coach hit him with that, it's like, man, where my helmet at, man?
Right.
Let me get out here. Let me get out here and
man.
do some work.
Yeah.
Forget the rest of the time and let's go now. Come on. Let's get out here.
And then you got teams like on the fence. I think Hermitage upset Verona week 1, which everybody was just looking like, whoa, like Verona was the one who took Holland Springs out last year. So I think they bounced back after that. Monacan had beat Manchester in week 1, and then I was trying to see if I could see Monacan at Thomasdale last week, but they canceled the game. We got to cancel. So there it is. COVID hits us again. And I was hoping to see that one, man, because I knew that would be a good one. What else? Dinwiddie got upset in week 1 versus Prince George. I think Prince George actually took Dinwiddie. Let's see. Anybody I'm leaving out? I think that was it. I think Hopewell actually has Dinwiddie this week on the 19th. So that's going to be interesting.
That should be a good one.
That is going to be a good
bounce back. Yeah, and then Hopewell, as we said, Hopewell not playing. Yeah, so there it is. Dinwiddie lost to Prince George week 1, 22-19, and they came back and they beat Petersburg 57-6. So
hey, look, I feel like you there. When it comes to Hopewell, Hopewell knocked my Phoebus boys out.
I mean but they had Henderson. I mean Henderson is he's going to Ohio State if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He's a pro.
That kid is a stud, and I think his little brother, or I want to say his little brother. Don't get me wrong. I think he's on the team this year. So like they're stacked at running back,
sophomore, something like that.
Yeah, they're stacked at running back. I mean, they're set to be good for a couple of years. And I think certain programs is and you can attest to this, starting them young, but having a great, system that goes from the mid-level up, from low level to mid-level to high level. And I think they're starting to breed that there in Hopewell, as all good teams do that. Say if you can start them from the beginning and then rise them up, you could.
There we go.
There he is.
Why does Zoom don't want us to be great? That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say.
It's too much heat on here, man. It's way too much heat.
They don't want us to be great, bro. That's all right.
I'm a bigger point than Kanye.
Yeah. No, but I was telling my Hopewell story, man. I was saying, I'll never forget, we got off the bus. It was raining. I was playing free safety and they hit us with the reverse. So they tossed it to the running back. He hands it to the receiver. And when he came around, he had 3 lead blockers in front of him. And I'm the only one there as defender wise. I'm like, man, I'm going in the mud. Like there ain't nothing I can do, man.
Oh, man.
I remember getting up and you couldn't see the color of my jersey. You could I'm just mud, just head to toe. And I was just like, bruh, and he scored on the play. So I was just like, this is the worst joint ever. I'll never forget that joint, man.
You're like, man, what am I supposed to do, Coach? I don't know why I recognized it.
And I was mad. Because you know how it be like you feel like you gotta be the one to stop it. Now I went to the I was like, hey, where was y'all at?
Right.
Look at that.
Who was y'all at tennis?
Look at my jersey. It was terrible, man. It was terrible.
Facts. And I'm like you said though, man, Hopewell. That hopefully we can get to that game, and my Phoebus guys can get to that game. But we've actually gained a little rivalry with them long before these past couple of years. I know I would say my senior year. Yeah, my senior year they had quarterback Lee Bujowski.
Bujikowski.
Look, whatever it is.
No, he torched us. He torched us, bro.
And he went to play baseball.
Yep.
Remember, he went to play baseball. So we was excited to play them, but we lost in a regional final to Brandon Orr in Indian River. And then they smack. Or I was like, see, man, we would have beat them, man. We would have beat. But I'm like, shit, we didn't win the game to get there. We didn't win the game to get there. So it sucked when we went up there we lost to them, I think, in a 17 again. So we went up there and played them. And they got the little sign with the years up there, and I'm like, damn, that's my senior year. Yep. That's that.
They took off my championship.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, 03, that's my senior year, man. God, man, we better beat them today, man. But we lost Henderson. Man, he just played. He played 4 quarters of football, man. We held him intact for as long as we could, no long runs. And then he put the .com on it, like I said, at the end of the game. When they needed a play, the kid just hit a gear, and that was it. .com, game over. Get him up out of here. Go on back down. 64.
And when you're special, man. He's
a pro, man.
And you know what's something with those, when you develop a rivalry with the team that you don't even see every year. It's like I got my eye out. It's like, okay, we made the playoffs, but there they go sitting over there.
Yeah. So we're excited. We hoping to get them, of course. We're hoping to get Hopewell, but we're not. Certain schools you don't shy away from comp. Like you said, the Highland Springs, the Veronas. I know Amelia. You guys in the mix. Y'all trying to get back in the mix, so
trying
to get back in the mix. But when kid, you're not gonna shy away from comp, man. And we take it all on. We got a good kid, KK, wide receiver, junior. He's the top recruit for us right now. Got a young running back, Ty. He's a 10th, 11th grader. So we're pretty young. This team is pretty big though for Phoebus. Blunt is doing a great job. I know they had the 7-on-7 stuff all, in the fall down here. And so the kids were able to still get something in and some time in. But, it's different once you get on that field and those pads get to click-clacking. And like you said, things are different, man. Now you got to play ball now. You got to play ball. Yeah. Ain't no tag. Ain't no flags. Ain't none of that. So –
yeah, we did a little flag up here, and we only got to play one team. So I mean, unfortunately, but it kept the kids active. I think that was a huge part of it. It's so tough with COVID going on because I think a lot of people don't truly understand. Like some of these teams don't practice, and then they got 1 game, 2 games, like one day of practice, and then they got a game. And like a lot of these, I know other sports, even like, and I'm just going on to the side here, but like volleyball in our county, we didn't start volleyball. They only had 1 day of practice, and then they had to play the next day. I was like, so, wow. I think I do commend the schools that were finding a way to let these seniors get an opportunity to play, because I couldn't imagine being a senior. You told me, guess what? You don't get to play this year. It's not like in college where they're giving these kids an opportunity to come back and play. In high school. That's it. You out of school. So it's just like I do commend some of the schools that have done their best to, go out here, do the best in the COVID protocols to make sure that these kids can get some type of senior year. And I understand some of the other schools saying no, we're just not going to do it. You want to be safe, and they didn't want to do for some sports and not all sports. So I understand that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I definitely understand it. Like you said, this COVID is real, man. It's real. Yeah. So if you can play, I hope everyone is safe and come out of there, like I said, COVID free, and they're able to get it in. Cause like I said, I can only imagine how, what I'm saying? Like you can't play, what I'm saying? I'm a senior. This was my year, what I'm saying? And then 3-4 games, or like you said, some counties are like, nah, we're not playing. We don't care.
Exactly.
Crazy.
It is tough. They work for years, for these moments, and for it to be taken away from them, in this pandemic. What a time, right? Like it's crazy. Like we already said, shortened seasons. Every week is like it's up in the air. You don't know if it's going to go through.
Right. Facts. Facts, man.
Practices are limited. It's just not the same, man. When it's all said and done, we're going to look back on this year, and we're going to be like, man, do you remember how crazy this was?
Yeah,
this game season with this, he won 3 games and went to the playoffs.
The 2020,
but then they came back and played it a week later. Like,
shoot,
insane,
basketball was 0-5. Basketball was 0-5, and they played they were 0-4, and they played an 0-5 Bruden team, and they in basketball a couple of weeks ago to go to the next round of the regionals. That's how crazy that is. Both teams were defeated. They weren't undefeated. They were defeated. God bless them. And I love my green and gold, and it's not to trash them or nothing like that, but that's just to give you an idea.
That's crazy, though, bro.
Yeah, it's just to give you an idea of what's going on. Like, and this is what my the athletic director told me down there. This is how they've had to try to make things happen. The region had to come together before the season, and they had almost like a drawing to say, all right, this is who who drew straws, and if all else fails and we don't get to tell the regionals, this is the 5. These are your seeds.
Wow.
Unless things happen. Yeah, so they had to come with a contingency plan
God.
in case. Yeah. So Amelia, we drew the 5th out of the 5 teams in the region. We drew 5, so we weren't going to play at home at all. And then I think Bruden couldn't play at home, so they end up coming to us. So that's how crazy it's been. And you're just trying to find that spot, trying to find for us, we got to look for a field sometimes. The game that we played Goochland a couple weeks ago, we didn't even play that at home. We haven't played a home game yet, and we're going into this will be our 3rd game this week, and we haven't played a home game yet because we had to play in Fluvanna just because they had a turf field, So it's just you're trying to make moves. That's how crazy COVID's been. It's you're just trying to make it happen.
And you're right. Kickintan, they just got a new head coach, Jeff Super, and they haven't played yet. He still hasn't played yet. Wow. And and the PD is 2 weeks in. He's about to like you said, hopefully play his first game this week. But I think they have to play 4 games in 10 days or 11 days coming up. Something like that. It's gonna be hectic.
That's crazy.
They were supposed to play Phoebus week 1. But because the thing happened before the season started, they was able to shuffle the games around, and Phoebus ended up getting, I think, Denby. It's like we've been saying,
it's
man.
Crazy.
It's crazy, man. And I commend all these kids, the coaches, the school systems, everybody that, if you're able to get a game in, a championship in this season, big ups to you, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Much love.
Yeah. Hopefully, 2020 will be 2021 will be kinder to us than last year, man. And we can actually make it through this and look back on it and realize that, we can't take this stuff for granted, man, that we got to do what we can do as a society, as a community,
right.
to just keep pushing it and forward everything on. Cause this has definitely been a shocker to us and awakening to us that, every day is not promised. Man, and we lost a lot of people, a lot of activities, and a lot of
exactly.
Yeah, a lot of everything, in this pandemic. So,
yeah, man.
All right. Definitely. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It's Commonwealth Sports Talk, The Triangle. I appreciate you fellas for coming on. Darrell,
appreciate you, man.
Always a pleasure. Take a bow. Take a bow. And we appreciate you, man. Good work, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Man, subscribe, share, man, all of that, man.
All day, baby.
And all of that. Tell your friend, tell your mama, your daughter, your dog, your cat, anybody, man. Tell them.
Hit the button.
Appreciate y'all, man. Love you guys. Keep being safe, man. For real.
Amen to that, man. Y'all take care of yourselves, man. Be safe out there.
You know it.